What is up everyone, welcome back to another Minion Masters video. So in this video I'm gonna go over the best supreme and legendary cards in the game. Well, pretty much all of them, not just the best. And I'm gonna give you tips on how to use them and how to fight against them if you haven't figured that out already. So this video is gonna be pretty much geared towards the newer players. I'll try to give you as many tips as possible. So if you get any use from this video, if you learn anything, please like it and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that in a while. It really helps the channel out a lot. But with that out of the way, let's start with the Supremes. One note though, I don't have all of them, so some of them, like these imps for example, are gonna be grayed out. But still, I think you're gonna know which card that is. So let's start off right with the Blood Imps. This card is usually, well, pretty much comboed with the Azali and nothing more, nothing less. You can also put it in swarms of minions decks. The one thing to note, both when you're playing with that and against that, is overkill damage counts. For example, if you zap these with Chain Lightning, they're each gonna take 100 damage, and that's gonna be a lot of damage to your master. If Cleaver starts ramming them, you're gonna take a lot of damage, so you can use that against other people, and you try to defend yourself against it also. When it comes to Black Hole, you're pretty much just gonna use this to delay things, so get creative with it. I can't really give you much tips. Bridge buddies, there's a simple bridge grab, nothing more, nothing less. They're fairly easy to use, so no tips there. When it comes to call to arms, you'll see some decks that are pretty much revolving around this card. What this does is pretty much replaces the buildings with warriors after a while. And the tips I'm gonna give to you are pretty much related to grasping thorns. So I'm gonna go with grasping thorns here. I'm gonna skip the others for now. When it comes to grasping thorns, they're gonna be on the ground and deal a lot of damage to your ground minions. Now, when it comes to dealing with this, you can always use spells or a certain type of AoE. Like Witch Wolf is gonna kill them. Any AoE from the Armor of Light, and these minions have it. And also Gex, the World Bomb, is gonna blow this off. So whoever uses Call of Arms is probably gonna use these and a lot of them. And they're kinda annoying because other buildings you can easily get rid of. Not this, so that's a good tip for you. When it comes to this card, I simply don't like it. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory, so no tips there. When it comes to Mana Puff Madness, make sure to like either have mana when you play this or have some like minions already into play, because both of you, you and your enemy, are gonna get some mana puffs. And if the enemy manages to kill your mana puffs and save theirs, then you're just gonna kill yourself by using this card. So just use it when you have good conditions for it, otherwise don't do it. This thing is very useful against all tanks because of the aura it leaves, and it's pretty easy to kill otherwise. So very useful card, no special tips for it though. When it comes to Sunburn also, it's pretty self-explanatory. It won't deal too much damage to your enemies a lot of times, but it's a small AoE, so it can be useful. And Rage, it can be useful in pretty much all of your minions, especially the ones that deal more damage. When it comes to this, it's also pretty self-explanatory, but one thing that it's often important to note, that some cards in pretty much all of these, like cards that replace themselves with other cards and lower their value, is that some cards have certain conditions where they are played and they gain bonuses, and that's what makes them worth that much. That's why I really don't like these uh, kind of casino cards, because they often like don't work that well for me. But if you want to have a casino deck, you can drop these in and have fun with it. When it comes to Lightning Bolt, the best way to counter it is simply to have a lot of minions, hopefully minions that are not worth that much, that are just small cards or something like that. That way the enemy has a smaller chance of bolting the minion that you like. And also you can like press the QWER button, whichever that is, that has this card, and just hover it, keep it ready when the enemy has no minions. So in case they play, let's say, a Colossus, then you can click it, and a lot of enemies won't be able to like notice that you played it and won't try to play or won't even get to play as something else. And that way you can zap the Colossus for 4 mana, which is amazing. When it comes to Priestess, she's a very good combo with a lot of minions, and she's always gonna be backline, because she walks slower than pretty much everything else that you put her with, except maybe Colossus, but she's gonna get stuck behind him. So you just wanna use backline targeting to get rid of this thing. It can be very good in combos, but it's really not that good of a card when used by herself, obviously. When it comes to Blastmancer and pretty much Spiritmancer, they work well in similar situations. So both of these are pretty good counters to any buildings that generate a lot of minions over time. Because those minions that come out of the buildings, they usually like squishy minions, and this one blasts them all and damages the building and the enemy tower and all the enemy minions in the process. And this guy is gonna give spirits to your other minions while he's killing these, and they are fairly easy to kill, so no problem there. Both these minions, they don't deal a lot of damage by themselves, so they're really like special use cases. And when it comes to this one, make sure that you have some minions on your side also. But if you see one of these played, don't play like swarms of small minions against them, because this one is gonna blast them and this one is gonna have free spirits fed to him. When it comes to Boom Buggy, this is actually a pretty decent card. Also has a combo with Scards, but make sure to have a front line for it and use some kind of backline targeting to kill it. Flying minions tend to get really hurt against this, but if you gotta use them, you gotta use them. When it comes to Demon Warrior, the faster you can end the game if you are playing against her, the better. She's not that strong until you play her for the 5th time, but after 5th time she's really strong, so definitely watch out for that. When it comes to Guardian, he's pretty much a Crystal Elf combo. Besides that, he's just a big chunk of a minion with a lot of health. So you can use them even if you don't have Crystal Elf cards, but he's definitely very essential when it comes to Crystal Elf decks. When it comes to Incubus, it's pretty much the opposite of this demon, and yeah, it's pretty good AoE. He's squishy on his own, so like using a defensive chopper or pretty much any minion that has high damage but it's not as squishy, pretty much any melee minions. And I think Cleaver can even kill him with one shot. I'm not sure though. Yeah, Cleaver can kill him in one shot. So if you see one of these walking up, just play a Cleaver and he's gonna like boom ram it and it's gonna be dead. When it comes to Infiltration, like for 3 mana you get 2 Plasma Marines when you play them usually, and here at 1 mana discount you also get double the Plasma Marines, but you can place them wherever you want. So this is a very good aggressive card and one of the best backline targeting cards in the game. There's not much you can do to counter it, but there are definitely infinite amount of use cases for it. Most of them are aggressive. When it comes to Lone Wolf, just make sure to like play it when there's nothing else summoned. Don't forget it, because we know that some people forget. Hint me, hint. When it comes to Soul Stealer, similar to these two, just don't play a bunch of small minions into it, because he's just gonna like ramp up his attack speed and he's gonna be a huge annoyance. And if you have a Soul Stealer, try to give him frontline, because he's very squishy. They're really easy to kill. But when they have a lot of attack speed build up, they can also deal insane amounts of damage. This is a minion that has really a lot of damage, and also she's quite nimble with her like walking backwards. So you can actually play a backline for her behind her. When she gets hit by a melee minion, it's gonna become her front line. So you can put like a tanky melee minion in the same lane where she is, and if she's in trouble, usually she's gonna survive long enough to be behind that minion. So it's really nice. A lot of combos with this thing. And to get rid of her, you can also use Cleavers. You can use Prowler even. Scar Tank is also very nice against her, or any ranged minions that outrange her, because her range is not that great, but she has insane damage. This thing, it's pretty much the same thing as Undying Skeleton, but when you reach Accursed Ascension, then they all wake up and then it's big annoyance. This is very good AoE, and also you can use it against like enemy swarms of minions to bring them to your side when you reach a cursed Ascension. So if you're playing against this, keep that in your mind. Here we have Slither Summons. It's pretty self-explanatory card, not much I can give you there when it comes to tips. When it comes to this card, make sure to look at the enemy tower whenever you can, especially when you're waiting for them to open. And you can also hear this when they play it, which is very important. This thing is same as Soul Stealer pretty much, so no additional notes there. When it comes to Hairbridger, this is a really annoying flying minion. You have a very recent episode of mine that pretty much showcases it in action. And if you can just protect them and make them get stuck on a tower or something, they're gonna be amazing. Also, they're like perfect counter to all tanks like red golems, like these, like Rekinators or Colossuses, and just huge slow minions, because they push them away, then they can deal their damage when they want to. This is also pretty self-explanatory card, no special notes there. This thing it carries Armor of Light, so it has a lot of AoE and can get you rid of the enemy Gospling Thorns. It's also one of cards that's decently effective versus female demon. And also the fact that it can leap from one enemy to the other. It's very effective against all buildings that spawn enemies over time, and pretty much just any swarms of minions, enemy towers. This is actually a very good tanky aggressive minion. This pretty much the same notes that come for all other casino cards come for this. When it comes to these, they're very good cards if you meet the condition, so just make sure to read the condition carefully and keep that in mind. When it comes to Red Golem, this is a very versatile minion, and it's probably one of the best cards you can get in draft, like on any kind of deck, because it's very good offensive and very good defensive minion also, and you can combo pretty much anything with it. And to get rid of it, just use tank busters and stuns. Like stuns are gonna be great, and like any tank buster is gonna work also. Flying minions also, he can't reach them, so that's gonna work, but you've gotta make sure that you kill the backline, because he's always gonna have backline in it. And he really has a lot of health, like he has 1600 health when the enemy master is below, or your master is below 50% health, so that's definitely amazing. Okay, let's move off to the legendaries. So first off we have the Screaming Scarf, which is pretty much a great bridge grab, but this can be also used to get rid of swarms of minions with its explosions, and explosions also deal damage to the flying minions, and this is very nice actually. This thing you can combo it with pretty much any bunch of minions. Like if you get a swarm of scars of pretty much any swarm of minions next to the enemy tower and blast them with this, like it's gonna deal a lot of damage, because the 50 master damage or 100 damage to minions is really a lot. And also radius 3, so you can kill the enemy minions and masters at the same time, and that's really great. When it comes to the Ritual of Servitude, I've actually made a pretty long video just pretty much discussing the decks that are currently used with it, not that long time ago, so I'm gonna link that video in the description. When it comes to countering this, in this meta it's really strong, probably the best card right now that you can use, despite its nerfs that have already passed through. So yeah, just watch that video to get all the info on it. When it comes to the Clear Skies, this is pretty much good if the enemy has a lot of shields or a lot of rage, or if you need to heal your minions, and this is like the perfect combo with the Milovin's passive minions, because it buffs them and heals them at the same time, and that's definitely amazing. When it comes to the Hero's card, pretty much having something that hits more often, or in other words more attack speed, is much better than more damage, because he has 50% chance to avoid all damage. So Cleaver can theoretically take an infinite amount of time to kill it, even though he takes a lot of even though he deals a lot of damage. If you're unlucky enough, he can hit him like 10 times and this thing still won't die. So the more often your minions hit, the better they're usually gonna be against this. This thing it can be used with pretty much all minions, but it's very useful with tanks. Like Very slow things, for example, a Colossus that takes a long while to move from one place to the other. You can move it much closer to the enemy tower with this, and that's amazing. This thing is very good against all male enemy minions, and you can use it to like get cleavers, rammers, and pretty much all the aggressive stuff stuck in front of the tower. Do note that it hits only ground minions, even though it's a flying minion. So you can kill it with any flying minions without being able to get hurt by it. When it comes to this card, you can use it pretty much on any special minion and it's gonna work pretty nicely. I mean, it definitely has a lot of combos, so I'm not gonna like ramp them all up here, but just try it with some minions, pretty much any special minions that has any special buffs, it's gonna be decently good with it. When it comes to this thing, the best thing to do against it is pretty much avoid using spells if you can, and that's pretty much the only tip I can give it to you. It's a fairly good minion all around, and just avoid spells if using it. And if we ever see a meta that it's pretty much rotating around using a lot of spells, then this minion is definitely gonna be great in it. When it comes to Dragon Nest, I've seen some decks revolving around it, but they usually don't work that well. If you manage to create a deck that works amazingly with this, let me know, but I haven't actually seen that so far, but I think it has some potential in it. When it comes to Ghost, yeah, you pretty much just steal the enemy minion or let's say borrow it, and it's cursed during the time. So this is very good, but if you intend to use it against let's say Morelia's dragon, make sure to give the dragon something to hit and put the ghost on the other side. So you can have, let's say, you can have it walk towards your tower and you can place something tanky on your bridge. So he's gonna turn around and face backwards to your tower. And then you can place this on its back, because usually you won't have any enemy minions there. They're gonna be at the tower trying to kill your tanky thing. And you can steal the dragon with this and proceed onward to kill the enemy minions that are there. When it comes to Hypnotize, you can use this to like hypnotize frontline or backline of the enemy combo, but only one, don't hypnotize both. And that way frontline is gonna kill the backline or other way around, and that's also amazing. Or you can simply use this to hypnotize the minions that the enemy is using to kill off your aggro minions when you are at the enemy tower. And that way you can end the game or prolong your push, whichever is gonna work pretty nice. When it comes to this guy, he's pretty much one of the best AoEs in the game. Only like few counters to it would be probably Witch Wolf, this guy, and Flying Minions, because he usually can't reach them, and that's pretty nice when it comes to it. This thing, the same things that apply to this, the Hero's card, where is it? To this guy, apply to it also, and you can kill both with Flying Minions without any problem. But this guy, he can 1v1 I think even a Colossus, because he's gonna pretty much deny the Colossus attack every time he hits it. So you can use it against such minions to a great success. When it comes to this thing, don't try to use it against like minions that have over 300 health, because it's not gonna be that effective, but you can kill off a bunch of minions with it if they all have like a low amount of health. So if you have pretty much a bunch of range minions or groups of things, you can kill them very easily with this, and it's gonna be great for it. This thing is also pretty self-explanatory, no special notes there. This is also pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna note that this is a very good card to use in aggro decks. Because in aggro decks, you may reach a point where your enemy is simply gonna like outscale you, because aggro decks don't usually scale that well, and then you can use this to chop them off little by little. And if they have like lots of AoE, and aggro decks, they sometimes do, but not often, then you can't kill them if they have a bunch of minions and you don't have that much AoE. You can't kill them that easily, and this can kill them and bring their health down more. And since you're running an aggro deck, you're probably gonna have much more health than your enemy before they start to outscale you a lot. So you can use this to just end the game quickly, and that's pretty nice. When it comes to this thing, stuns are excellent against it. It has a lot of attack speed, so it's gonna pretty much easily kill swarms, but swarms still work pretty decently against it. And like Hairbridger is also pretty good against it. And yeah, just try stuns or flying minions or like bunch of minions, but he's gonna kill off your swarms pretty decently. When it comes to this guy, he's perfect counter for tanks because of the stun. Do note that like Cleaver is gonna hit him, for example, every once in a while, so that is a problem. But when it comes to like Colossus that has even slower attack speed, I think he can stun him indefinitely, which is amazing. When it comes to this, try using a Priestess to combo with it, and Genchi minions also. And if you are going against it, any backline targeting is very good against it. You can also summon low cost minions, not minions, minion like if you have 1 mana bridge grab or 2 mana bridge grab, you can summon it right next to this, and if you don't have your enemies nearby, it's gonna discharge on it and use a lot of its health on it, so that's pretty nice. And make sure to kill the priest as that's healing it to get rid of it much easier. When it comes to this, it has the same mechanic as the lightning bolt. The only thing is like the minion that it kills is gonna also become a buff. So the same things apply that apply to bolt. Just have a bunch of minions that probably don't cost that much, so you won't be sad when you lose them. When it comes to this guy, he's gonna be invincible a lot, so just make sure to have minions on top of him when he hits something, because he's gonna become visible at that split second. And if the enemy has other minions on top of him, you can use AoE to kill him, which is pretty nice. When it comes to this guy, he's fairly squishy, but he's a counter to pretty much all melees with his mechanics. He's still gonna need a frontline though. He can kill your flying minions, he can kill your everything. He's pretty annoying minion to deal with. And you can definitely use backline targeting to get rid of him if you have no other solution. When it comes to Howling Moon, this is a very good tank buster actually, and the werewolves, they have been nerfed a bit, but they are still pretty strong. So like when you know the enemy has this, try to bait it out before playing like Colossus or something huge, because you know that they can like half the health of pretty much all your minions. And one minion that's pretty good to use against it and try to bait out this is Card Tank. Because if he's not attacking anything, he's not gonna take any damage, despite this description right here. Also like Divine Warrior or something like that. And your enemy might not know it and might use this card and be like, what? And that's very good for you. When it comes to this guy, he's pretty much excellent at killing off a lot of enemy ground minions. The AoE is simply amazing. He can get rid of the Gaspling Thorns, and that's also pretty nice. When it comes to like going against him, try to use as much damage as you can. And yeah, that's pretty much the only tip I can give you, because stuns, they don't work that well actually. But you can use a defensive chopper to deny his damage, his AoE, or pretty much deny his AoE while he's doing that. But when it comes to the explosion, you're just gonna need a lot of damage to get rid of that. When it comes to this guy, he can not die for a pretty long time, and that's amazing, and deals decent amount of damage and has AoE. So this is one of the most versatile minions in the game. And yeah, to get rid of him, you can use flying minions, or just don't use Grasping Thorns, because he can kill them with his AoE. When it comes to Azali, she's pretty much the best combo minion in the game, probably right now, because a lot of decks with her are pretty strong. She's not gonna give shields to flying minions though, so keep that in mind if you're trying to build a deck that features her. And just avoid grabbing bridges when you're playing against her until you kill her, if you ever can. When it comes to this guy, he's pretty much a cleaver that's gonna like give you discounts on your Voidborn cards when he hits something, because he pretty much kills whatever he hits. And that's pretty nice. And in my Halloween special, you could actually see how good he is. He can be very good in win combo with Voidborns, and he can give you that uh, 12-0 victory in draft, and that's pretty amazing. When it comes to this thing, it's flying AoE that heals itself. I don't know if you can get any more annoying than that. He's pretty squishy though, so if you can just get rid of it somehow, with either with backline targeting or give it something to hit and then kill him from behind. Like, well, for example, he been hitting your tower or your tanky minion and you can have some flying minions behind him. I think that's the best solution because he's pretty annoying actually, and you can't really use swarms of flying minions against it if it's not hitting anything else, so keep that in mind. When it comes to this thing, it's one of the best like purely defensive tanks that if reaches the enemy tower is gonna deal a lot of damage. So he can definitely be a tank carry, but he's gonna protect all the backline behind him by taunting the enemy minions trying to kill them. So he can be really annoying. You can use stuns or pretty much any tank busters against him, and if you use like flame imp or something like that, like the Flame Imp is gonna have his AoE or pretty much any other AoE that hits him if it's like strong enough, if it has a big enough area of effect, it might still kill the backline minions despite the taunt, and that's amazing. Colossus is definitely one of the minions that can kill backline while hitting this if the backline is close enough, so that's pretty good. I've had multiple episodes where I've hit Colossus and he carried me. He's pretty much a cleaver that does AoE and walks slower, so try not to confuse them. Like, when it comes to names, we know that some people do, but don't be that guy. When it comes to this thing, you have to have a special deck to have this, and then it's really sad when you play it and the enemy just uses Chain Lightning and kills all of the minions and you have just this one remaining, so that's a good tip to get rid of it. Just use AoE or something, but the minion itself that you get from it, like this Lord guy, he's actually pretty strong, so I mean he's like any other melee ground minion, so you can just get rid of him easily if you kill his backline. When it comes to this card, like don't confuse this uh, with the passive minion that you get from Morelia, because there are two different cards. It's gonna go with Slumbers first, then you're gonna get this, and you can kill off the enemy like squishy minions with this, and get to the Ascension pretty much quicker. This guy, he won't have like the swoop damage, and by swoop Ascension I mean, well, when you get it from Morelia's passive, it's gonna be pretty much like playing this and then playing him. Uh, when you play him, when you just play him, he's not gonna do this, but he's still gonna have the impact and the damage from the impact. So yeah, that's pretty nice, but this just gives you the ability to have that minion in any deck with any master, and that's pretty nice actually. So that's gonna be all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you really find some value in here. If you did find any value, please like the video and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. It really helps the channel out a lot and I really appreciate it a lot. So that's gonna be all. If I missed something or if you need any additional tips, feel free to ask anything in the comments below, and I'll see you pretty soon, so enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye!